Olha, eu sei que esse vídeo é em inglês, mas pode ser importante mais tarde, então vamos nessa. O guia que você precisar para comprar visual novels. Eu tenho que ler mais em inglês, em voz alta, na moral. Vamos lá. Vou deixar
If
a
you're new to visual
legenda aqui em cima. Tem como eu deixar aqui? Tem.
novels or want to get started on reading them, you might have asked yourself, where do I even buy them? This
Cara, eu achei do DL site e tem alguns jogos na Steam, mas a Steam tá perigosa agora com essa palhaçada de fazer censura por causa das empresas de cartão de crédito. Droga, empresas de cartão de crédito. É só pra vocês processar pagamento, porra. Não era pra vocês censurar os bagulho.
simplest answer is
Malditas
buying the
feministas.
games on Steam. However, while convenient, Steam has implemented certain restrictions that can prevent you from playing the full version of the visual novels, like
Exatamente.
having DRM, removing 18 plus content,
Tá vendo?
or even taking out entire sections of the game. In
Aí é foda, mano. Por causa disso aí também, mano.
this video, I'm going to show off a couple of different alternative stores where you can buy visual novels
site, né?
besides Steam. I'm going to highlight
Mano, tem uns jogos meio curiosos que eu quero jogar que não tem como eu achar
these
assim,
stores,
na
both in
Surface.
their unique features and
Eu não sei
restrictions, to help you buy visual novels the way
É,
it was
eu quero jogar no que taxa. Tem na Steam. Mas provavelmente é capado, então eu não sei.
meant
Porra.
to be played, or that are to your liking. But before we talk about alternative stores, we need to talk about Steam as a store platform first, and explain why these particular issues you want to avoid. Now, to give them credit, Steam is basically the go-to place for PC games. It's super
Obviamente,
convenient
mas pros games japoneses é complicado.
and easy to access. There's also the fact that Steam automatically backs up your save files across your devices. Steam also makes buying games easy and available by being quick and accepting a ton of payment methods, including PayPal. It even offers regional pricing, which is very important for certain countries and individuals. Now, while not relevant to buying visual novels themselves, one of the most helpful things about Steam is that it can provide a lot of useful information. You can see a game's main features, read user reviews, look at guides, and even see important discussions. That last one is especially important because for visual novels specifically, there will be people telling you about important external patches that need to
Ah, você pode colocar coisas no jogo? Tipo, você vai lá, é que nem você colocar mods. É um patch, né? Um patch tecnicamente é um mod.
be downloaded for the game,
Technicamente.
some of which unlock the 18 plus content or even the rest of the game. You might be asking, why is this the case? Why don't they come with it already? Well, thanks to Steam's arbitrary approval policies, in order for games to be listed on Steam, publishers/developers have to remove or censor content in order to comply with Steam's guidelines in order to be on the store. For example, for Wonderful Everyday, Down the Rabbit Hole, or Subaru Shikihibi, a beloved
Eu até
psychological
jogaria
horror
esse jogo, mas deve ser muito grande e provavelmente o Furoshi falaria merda. Não, ele gosta desse bagulho, mas
For
porra.
visual novel, the Steam version only includes the first chapter. To access the missing content, you need to download patches from other stores. But you
Mano.
probably wouldn't know that unless you are actively checking, especially if you're new to visual novels.
Olha que
While
merda.
that's one of the most important factors, there are plenty of other reasons why
Por
not to
causa
buy
disso que você tem que piratear tudo nessa porra mesmo.
visual novels on Steam,
Tudo.
such as Steam's use of DRM. DRM is technology meant to protect digital games from being copied or shared without permission. It's
Pirateia
extra
tudo, irmão.
security
Não
for the
adianta,
publishers
pirateia
and
tudo.
developers, running at the cost of being inconvenient for users. On Steam, their specific DRM requires you to be signed into your Steam account to play most games, sometimes requiring you to open the Steam launcher application or have an active internet connection. In much worse cases, DRM limits how many times you can install the game on different devices, which is a
Perdão, tive que pausar aqui.
major inconvenience. And finally,
Pois é.
perhaps the biggest issue is that some visual novels may not be on Steam at all due to being
maioria
banned,
delas
thanks to
não tá.
those arbitrary approval policies, some of which that are critically acclaimed or
Esse grisalho.
insanely interesting among readers. Thankfully, the storefronts I'll talk about next don't have these issues and actually are the primary places to buy visual
Eu quero
novels.
jogar o School Days, mano. Mas eu não vou fazer a rota do Makoto, obviamente. Eu quero ver como que é as diferenças. Só por causa que não tem anime, né? Mas
Specifically. First up, Jazz USA. If you buy visual novels
Yes.
from Jazz USA or any of the stores I'll mention later, they will give you the full version of the game. You don't have to install any external 18 plus patch like you would with the Steam version of the
And here.
game. One of the biggest
Ah, eles
features
estão fazendo
is
uma
that all
tradução. O mano lá do O servidor postou aí que estão fazendo uma tradução desse jogo aí.
The games you purchase from Just USA are DRM free. You don't need an internet connection to play them, it doesn't require any authentication software, and you're free to use and copy the software for your personal needs without any restrictions. Once you buy a game, you can download it as many times as you want. They also offer regional pricing and a 30-day money-back guaranteed if you're not happy with your purchase. In addition to being a game store, Just USA is also a well-known publisher of visual novels. They've personally had a hand in translating and bringing over Saya no Uta, Starless, and the critically acclaimed visual novel Full Metal Demon Muramasa. What's even more important to consider is that these visual novels aren't available on Steam due to either being banned or having content that is probably too spicy for Steam to handle. As a result, these titles are only available on their store. One of the biggest appealing factors of Just USA is that for the visual novels that they directly translate and publish, those games are fully uncensored. This means no mosaics in the 18+ scenes. While most people don't care one way or another about whether or not there are mosaics, they will most likely agree that having no mosaics is a definite plus. What's also nice is that purchasing games on their site gives you points available to be used for a discount on your next purchase. Now, while Just USA has a digital store, it's also connected to another site where you can buy physical goods. Through JList, not only can you buy a plethora of Japanese goods from art books, manga, and doujins, but you can also buy physical/special editions of visual novels too. Such examples include the special edition of Full Metal Demon Muramasa, and I also wanted to highlight this very cute Saya Fumo plushie that sold out immediately. Now, another place that offers the same qualities as Just USA, being both a storefront and a publisher, is the company responsible for bringing over Higurashi/Umineko, the Rant series, and the House in Fata Morgana, Manga Gamer. All of the games offered by Manga Gamer comes DRM free, and for the titles they directly publish, comes uncensored as well. You can even buy physical editions and goods of some highly regarded titles, such as t-shirts, wall scrolls, and physical soundtracks. Their website may not be the most modern looking one compared to other storefronts. In fact, some people might call this charming, but it's perfectly functional to buy visual novels from. As for some game recommendations that you can find here that aren't available on Steam, there's the Rant series. And for fans with more extreme and curious tastes, they also have a large selection of Nukige and gore-heavy visual novels such as the infamous Euphoria and Megabates. A small downside is that they don't offer PayPal and regional pricing. Next up is Sekai Project and Denpasoft, and the two go together. Sekai Project is the all-ages brand, while Denpasoft is their adult brand. They offer similar features as the other storefronts: DRM free, directly published games are uncensored, and a discount point system. What's nice about them in particular is that while they offer games, digital books, and character goods, they also have developer official body pillows. Although the last time they had body pillows available, they sold out pretty damn quickly. The Nekoparo ones in particular. Similar to Manga Gamer in its downsides, they don't offer PayPal and regional pricing. Jorin is also another alternative store where you can buy visual novels. Here is where you'll find Shirobune published titles. However, based off of mine and other people's personal experiences, I wouldn't recommend it due to various issues regarding activation code limitations, DRM verification on some games, and an overall hard time purchasing games using credit cards. Thankfully, most if not all Shirobune titles now and going forward are available on the storefronts I mentioned previously. Personal recommendations are Dona Dona, White Album, and Meteor World Actor. Dona Dona and Meteor World Actor in particular being banned on Steam. Minor side note, if you download a Shirobune published title on Steam, you can easily download the 18+ patch over at patch.moe. A simple, plain site, but honestly it's the pinnacle of minimal efficiency. itch.io is also another really good storefront. In fact, I would recommend it as the go-to platform for original English visual novels. Here you can find visual novels / dating sims from smaller indie creators, and directly buying through itch.io directly supports the creators, compared to Steam's 30% business cut. There's plenty of free visual novels here also available to download and play too. And just like all the other storefronts, those titles are DRM free. Now, all of the following stores I mentioned before are for PC, but you may be asking,
Porra, tava falando sozinho aqui.
platform for original English
Negativo,
visual novels.
afaste-se.
Here you can find visual novels / dating sims from smaller indie creators, and directly buying through itch.io directly supports the creators, compared to Steam's 30% business cut. There's plenty of free visual novels here also available to download and play too. And just like all the other storefronts, those titles are DRM free. Now, all of the following
A IDM free é bom, hein?
stores I mentioned before are for
Só usar, vou pesquisar esse Just aí, que tem uns jogos que eu quero jogar. Pela história mesmo, por causa que capado não dá, né, porra?
PC, but you may be asking, what about console stores? Well, while purchasing for a console is perfectly fine,
Engraçado que no Switch tem jogo hentai.
I wouldn't recommend it. By default, all visual novels published for consoles are all ages, which naturally excludes the mature content. You might be thinking, oh, it's just R18 scenes, there's nothing to be lost by removing those, or
No,
I just skip
depende.
those scenes anyway. Well, to that, just going off of principle alone, I don't think anyone would like it when content is removed, regardless of its
Exato.
R18 scenes or not. The only exception when it comes to buying visual novels for consoles is for those console-exclusive VNs. A good example of this is Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon, which at the
Pera aí, Tsukihime não tem as cenas cortadas?
time of this recording is only available for PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. That said, it's very likely that it will eventually be ported over to PC, but the time for when that will happen
Eu
is
acho que até agora não tem versão pra PC.
still
Não tem.
undetermined. Besides that, a lot of otome games fall into this same category. A lot of English published otome games are only available for the Nintendo Switch. So unless you're into otome games, you're probably better off sticking to PC. I hope this helped you in finding places to buy visual novels. If you found this video helpful and want more extremely helpful advice about visual novels, you definitely want to click on this video over here. Thanks to all my Patreon subscribers for supporting the
Thank
channel
you.
and this video.
É isso aí, rapaziada. E vou usar esse Just aqui, mano. Vou pesquisar ele depois aqui. Então, ver se eu consigo achar alguma coisa interessante lá e acessível pra eu comprar. É, eu tenho que jogar mais jogos desse nível aí. E ler mais.